at that. A big old square grouper of the Cannabis Cowboy and BG just sitting there on the beach. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah, where's the sun at? I can't find it up here anywhere.
It just started warming up out here, so there's no beach weather out here in Colorado, so I can't seem to find it either. Oh, why do I keep getting out of focus here? Hold on. Tech difficulties. Here we go. All right. My apologies, folks. So, hey, we're back. Square Groupers, episode 6 already. I can't believe it's flown by as fast as it has. That's just how it is, man. We churn this content out. It's crazy. Let me take down this Cowboy salary cap tab. I don't want to even look at that. It was just staring at me. Oh, man. Oh, geez. All right. So, BG, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Business is booming, baby, according to the numbers.
Business is indeed booming.
And we're not talking about the Antonio Brown business is booming. We're talking about the cannabis industry. Business is booming every Wednesday here at Square Groupers. We're a little bit later here today because we got a special guest that we're going to have on the show. I think maybe stealing Bob's thunder here a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be sharing our thunder in this whole situation. We got a lot of people on the line here. Lee Lopez, R.C. Woodson. What's going on? Mag Daniels, how you doing? King Sharon's in the house, as always. Gas prices right now in Colorado. I just paid $3.2 per gallon, but I rock the King Supers. So I got, I think 20 cents off a gallon. I don't know, man. Shopping at this particular grocery store I go to helps take a little bit of the sting out of that, but that's everywhere. Vic Martinez, what's going on? Peter Rizzo's back in the house. Jerky Boy tagging it. What's up, Rizzo? R-I-Z-Z-O. That's right. I was telling Peter Rizzo, I can't ever not think of Frank Rizzo from the Jerky Boys when I see his name. Thank you for the reminder. You didn't have to do it because, like I said, your name was just giving me that reminder every time. So, yeah, man, we are here to talk about the cannabis business, man, the growing business. And before we get into it real quick, I got to show something real quick. All my entire life, I've been a fighter. I've been a fighter on the front lines since the late 70s, early 80s, when people were telling me that video games were a waste of time and you should go out and play. And while I did find a great balance between the two, I'm very much a hardcore gamer. And I had been playing for a long time. Up until about a month ago, I've been busting my butt kind of putting the house together. And I went on this 4-hour marathon of Rocket League. And unfortunately, it gave me a really, really bad case of I'm gonna write it down right here and pull it up. But it's called tenosynovitis. Which is basically video gamers disease, if you will. I'm going to pull up this graphic here in a moment. I had one.
So this is like a thing?
Oh, it's 100% a thing.
So where's the scrolling with the thumbs and the fingers on the phones? Yeah, I ain't seen that one yet.
Okay, here we go. It is also called de Quervain syndrome. So let's go ahead and pop this up. And again, this has got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I want y'all to know that, shit happens sometimes. So actually, hold on, not that one. Let's do this one. This one's a little bit better. All right, so there you go, man. So what it is if you're using your thumb repetitively, in my case, this is my left thumb. I was playing Rocket League. Yeah, I know. I've played that game for years. I love it. But it's this little sheath that is covering the tendon that winds up getting super inflamed. And it's basically right there at that attachment where your wrist meets your thumb. And it causes a lot of pain and wind up getting inflamed and stuff like that. But the absolute only way to stop that from happening is to just not move your thumb for 2 weeks. So I thought I could roll through it, and I couldn't. So I got a little brace for it. Not a big deal.
I'm impressed. Not only are you a ganja god and a cultivator, you also have a PhD with a gaming degree, I see, as you break down the x-rays of the tendons and all of those great things. Let's give it up for Bob, a grandosaur of all things.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just so you know, one of the main things in this room that I'm in right now, I want to turn this around so I could show you everything I got going on, but I don't want to mess with the background. But one of the things I wanted to do is have some of these systems that I have here, because I have an NES, I've got a Super Nintendo, I've got a Sega Master System, I've got a PS1, a PS2, I've got Xbox 360, Xbox One, a regular Xbox. I probably have 12 systems, and I've been collecting them for years. So I want to kind of find a cool way to show them off. But that is neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen, take a break. If you were above 45 years old when you were video gaming, you got to know that you can't do the same shit you used to do for 4 or 5 hours in a row. I got away with it. I didn't have anything to do the next day. I felt like a kid again, and I paid for it like an adult. So at any rate, it's not hurting me or killing me or anything like that. I just want to make sure that it's not a future problem, because I don't want to not be able to game again.
Maybe you should smoke some for load management and pain relief. Maybe you should get you some CBD cream, put it on there or something. We got some remedies over here.
We got some folks that can help me out with that too. No doubt. No doubt, man. So yeah, we're the growing industry is another little catchy term that I decided to go with today too, because obviously it has everything to do with the growing of the cannabis. In which I'm trying to figure out what I'm planning on growing here. I have no idea yet. I might leave it up to the folks that have been following me for a while. But this industry has been blowing up. Cannabis industry just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And as I keep seeing projections, although I don't have any sort of, I don't think I had any. I don't think I had anything in terms of graphs or anything like that. But I looked at a few things and did wind up pulling about, I think they said about a 15% increase every year for the next 5 to 10 years, which is insane. I don't know, man. I feel like I need to definitely kick the door in this business, man, because what I'm doing right now is not necessarily that lucrative at all.
Hey, but speaking of, because when you're down there, me and you shared, when I'm doing my homework during the week, if I find an article or something, kind of that's how we got to this topic here today, I think, is doing some research and seeing the articles coming out about the cannabis industry booming. But we came across, in case you didn't know, for those of us in this age group out here that, watch Jeopardy, we're going to date some folks here. Watch Jeopardy, that show.
Got to watch our programs.
Do you know that pot made it on the Jeopardy recently? I shared the link with you in the private chat over there. You can pull it up whenever you get ready.
There's no way they mentioned cannabis on Jeopardy, man. Did they? This is crazy. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. James Holzhauer keeps making history. Cashed in $131,000 last Friday. Then on Monday night, he made history again by correctly answering this prompt. On January 1st, 2014 in Denver, an 1/8 ounce of Bubba Kush was for USA's first legal sale of this for recreational purpose. Holzhauer immediately hit the buzzer and replied, "What is marijuana?" That's great stuff.
Look at that, man. I mean, we're breaking down barriers and stigmas, you know what I mean? And when you get on Jeopardy, you're getting into a whole new market, you know what I mean?
Other acceptable answers included
cannabis. Right. I've seen that too.
Devil's cabbage, devil's lettuce, or jazz cabbage. That is.
I never heard of jazz cabbage before.
Yo, you know why? That's racist, man. Jazz cabbage. Holy shit, man. Okay. Come on, man. I don't know. I took that a little bit, maybe.
I thought that was pretty cool, man. And I thought you said that was too, that you knew that the first sale in Denver medical, cannabis was Bubba Kush OG.
It was Bubba Kush, the very first legal sale. I wonder what store that was, man. Do we have that info? I don't know, man. That's pretty sweet. I definitely know that.
Probably Wanda James' store out there,
Yeah, that was one. I mean, that was obviously it had been
Simply,
medically legal
Simply
for a
Pure.
while.
I can't remember the name of her brand out there, but first African American woman to open up a cannabis dispensary out there in Colorado. She's making big waves out there for the industry. But speaking of the industry, man, the industry is booming, baby. I found a couple of more articles. I just thought that was pretty cool that the first sale. So if you didn't learn anything here today, you learned that Bubba Kush OG was the first actual medical cannabis sale in Denver in the industry as we talk about business is booming.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. My all time is pre-98 Bubba Kush, which was not as specific in that answer. But yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Bubba Kush is just one of the best, man. And that's awesome to hear.
And then,
We got
I don't want to hijack your segment here, but you shared this with me earlier, so I want to make sure that we get this back up on there. But I guess apparently in Denver also, since we're talking about all things Denver,
oh yeah.
you shared with me that a Whataburger opened in Denver, but a guy waited in the car in freezing temperatures for 4 days in the drive-through just so he could get the official hamburger of the Dallas Cowboys. Say it ain't so, Joe. I got the link in the private chat, baby.
Yeah, it was actually in Colorado Springs that happened. It wasn't in Denver. They don't have any plans yet, just
Okay.
yet, to bring in a Whataburger in Denver yet. But like I said, yeah, it was Colorado Springs,
Well,
and
everything in Colorado is around Denver anyway, ain't
pretty much.
it?
I like
But
this right here. What a fool! What a fool is what they entitled this in particular situation. I can't believe it. That's crazy, man. Yeah. So he sat out and apparently for a few days, um, 4 days in freezing temperatures to be the first customer. I guarantee you, the first person who bought that Bubba Kush eighth did not sit in freezing temperatures to do that.
yeah, I wonder how that went though.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy.
Yeah, we need to
So
find out. Maybe that's probably some research I'd like to do. I'd like to find out where that was actually sold at too. You know what I mean? As we go back here and celebrate that. But on a different note, we are in March, which is Women's History Month, and we have had, I think last Women's History Month, last March, we had a special guest from the cannabis industry that was a woman on the show too as well, didn't we, Byron?
we sure did. Yeah, it's been a while. We're talking about Amanda, right?
Amanda Hayes.
Amanda Hayes, man. I just spoke to her a few days ago. I let her know that I had a few friends coming in from Florida, and I wanted to. I tried to pop open the can opener, see if she would give me any info on the future 420 sales that she's got going on for Good Chemistry, and she didn't. She didn't fall for it. She's
She
too
didn't
damn
follow
wise.
it.
Didn't work. King Sharon, you gonna go with me to your favorite dispensary? Yeah, man. Yeah. Damn right, man. We'd have to shoot a little something, something for sure, man. Hold on one second. So, what is it that made you think about this idea for today's episode, Bear?
Well, nearly 500,000 Americans work in the marijuana industry. New Leafly report finds this was put out about a week ago. You know that website I tell you about, the link is in the private chat over there, Bob. MarijuanaMoment.net. I pay them $25 a month as a patron just so every morning I can get that email ding notification, in my inbox. So that way I can keep abreast of what's going on. But as you take a look there, you got it up, Bob? You got the link over there to you?
It's coming. It's
Okay.
coming.
Yeah, the marijuana industry is continued to grow in 2021 with almost 500,000 people now employed full-time in the cannabis industry sector. As more state markets come online like Mississippi, shout out Mississippi, we just talked about that here last week, 37 state legalized now.
Yeah, my crooked letter, good for y'all.
That growth is expected to continue potentially as states like New York, New Jersey, shout out where the original 88 is, my favorite dude, no copy, no paste. New Jersey, Connecticut prepare to implement retail sales, but the new figures of 2021 are already sizable. So, it's pretty much like the writing is on the wall. Like, for anybody that thinks that, that may watch this content here, we're actually trying to put out some information for folks that are willing to listen. Like if you're a writer, I'm seeing more and more jobs out there. I'm on LinkedIn too as well. I see content opportunities coming open for content writers out there in the cannabis space. Bloggers and vloggers, especially veterans that are in legal states. You know what I mean? Folks that could get down on the ground and share, some of that. I'm also a patron too over there at the Texas Cannabis Collective. I'll pull that link up here too. That's on Facebook. I support them as well because they're boots on ground down there in Texas. Like, you got to get engaged. This is a chance where you can get a boat in the water, kind of like what we got here with Square Groupers. So when the tide comes in, guess what happens?
Ride the tide.
All boats rise, baby. All boats rise.
If you have any questions, you might as well fucking fire them up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing my brother Riles into the show right now. What's up, Bill? How's it going, dude?
Doing well, man. How you guys doing?
What up, Bill?
What's going on, man?
Another day, another blunt, baby. You know how it goes.
So I heard you guys talking earlier. The lady in Colorado is Wanda James.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I was asking is what dispensary was it that sold the first eighth, which was whatever the Bubba Kush that was.
Is that what you're saying? It was out of hers, Bill?
I don't think it was hers, but she was the first African American woman to own a dispensary in Colorado.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I just said if I had to put my prop bet on it at Bet MGM, I would say maybe it might have been her dispensary.
Yeah,
it might have been. I don't really know. That's a good question.
2014. I don't know if you think about it, man. There was already established dispensaries out here by that point, so that's a tough one, man. We'd have to Google the hell out of it. But what's going on, Bill? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here, man.
Yeah.
So listen, I know you're definitely a West Coast fan here. What do you care at all about the possibility of Whataburger traveling to Denver, Colorado?
It's a Texas franchise, right?
Yeah.
So all my Texas friends think it's the greatest burger ever made.
Yeah, most of us do.
All the California people think In-N-Out's the greatest burger ever made. So I'm just curious to try it. I've never tried it.
I would love to have you back after you try it. Now, you've had In-N-Out before, right, Bob?
I've had In-N-Out. I've had my double doubles, and it's a great burger. It's nothing where I'm sitting in line for 3 hours to get it, because there's one down the block from us, Bobby, right? In Belmar.
Yeah.
I've been to it once. So
I'd love to have him back on after he does. Matter of fact, we get a live reaction. I don't know, something. Yes,
I know. And I don't even care. I don't even care if we get off topic. What burger would you suggest to him at Whataburger to try if you're going to tell him to go there, which you did, obviously? What would you?
For years, I always just got the number one, with a sweet tea, large, regular, basic, But now I get it with jalapenos. I'm a little spicy, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of upping the game a little bit. So I just do a number one with some fresh jalapenos on it. You got to get that. You got to get that when you go there. You can't fuck around and get no regular ketchup. You got to get the spicy ketchup.
I like me some spicy ketchup.
Yeah, I think is it just like anything else, man. It's the memories that you attached to when you were younger. I spent years in Texas, about a little over a decade, and so Whataburger was just thrown at me, and it became part of my breakfast. Like I said, chicken strips, that damn Texas toast and fries. I had that shit every day. It was fucking horrible to do because it's just straight carb in it, man. But it was survival, man. So yeah, that was a good time. But
just like us growing up at Burger King.
Yeah. I was just talking. I was just talking to my friend Damien about that, man. I was like, I took mom to Marshall's and Burger King. He's like, right there in Kendall. I'm like, yeah. It's like, damn, I've been going to that Burger King for years. Like we all have, man.
Still there.
But yeah, it's a flavor thing. So like you said, all the West Coasters are going to pull the In-N-Out, and then anyone from down in the Texas area is going to say Whataburger. I'm just happy that that we're a good enough market for all of them be here, so that we can just whenever we want be like, oh, we can fucking go here or go there. A lot of these folks don't have the ability to have their competition right next to them, but these guys are going to.
Denver's getting too crowded. Everybody needs to go home. Yeah,
I was going to ask you. So you have a lot of competition around you. And first of all, why don't you let everybody know the name of the store now, since things have kind of rebranded and changed. Throw your pitch. Let us know exactly what your dispensary is called and where it's located.
It's called Frost Exotic Cannabis, formerly Diego Pellicer. It's on the corner of Federal and Alameda in Denver.
Right on, man. So you guys are in a position where you have separated from, I guess we could just say, an investor or somebody that was a big part of what you were doing. And now you're kind of stormtrooping it, doing it on your own, trying to figure out a way to get that going, man. What kind of struggles or advancements have you seen since that's gone on?
Well, struggling to find our identity because people always, they came into the shop. It was Diego Pellicer. It was beautiful displays. And we've had to actually change it totally around. Like next time you come in there, you take a look at it. It looks we're going for a Meow Wolf kind of look, kind of a trippy look, which is totally different than Diego Pellicer was. So a lot of people walk in and go, whoa, this is totally different. A lot of great feedback. It's still the same team. It's just a different name. We broke away from our parent company that we just felt that we were doing a lot for that company and they weren't doing a lot for us. So we just broke away from them and decided to, change it and do it on our own, which was probably the smart thing to do. But there's growing pains with everything, painting the building, figuring out what we're going to do on the inside, stuff like that. But the way the market is right now, it's been so dead, so slow. I mean, everybody's suffering right now in Colorado, especially Denver. The last 3 months have been really bad. We're down 30 to 40%.
So that's pretty massive. And we're talking about how the industry as a whole, which obviously that's made up of averages, which would put you and anybody else who is finding their way to struggle in the industry right now, lowering that average. But at the same time, it's still a booming industry. But like you said, I think what you said earlier really has a big impact on some of the struggles you're dealing with. The fact that it's massively overcrowded out here, not only with humans, but then you have the businesses of cannabis popping in, or you have big money buying up multiple places and saturating the market.
Well, the market was saturated anyway. I mean, there's too many licenses here. I mean, it's not like Oklahoma, which has like 35,000. They gave it to anybody who wanted one, but it's still just oversaturated with licenses. But a lot of those are going away because grows are going under. Edible companies, concentrate companies are going under. All it takes is 3 really bad months and your business could just collapse.
It's funny you say that, Bill, about Oklahoma just handing out candy like that. Let me ask you this. There's been reports that Oklahoma is like the model that other states should look towards in terms of the way they're doing business there. Is that kind of contradictory, or is that a part of their success by just giving it to anybody?
Yeah, I don't know. They're getting their tax dollars, but I mean, too much competition, you end up eating away at all the profits. So, I mean, it's not like a Starbucks. We can have a Starbucks on every corner and still pretty much be profitable. Cannabis is different. They're going to realize in Oklahoma they gave away too many licenses because they're going to start going under. A lot of companies are going to start, especially grows. You need to have a grow attached to your dispensary in Oklahoma. So basically, they're giving away grow licenses. So if you have one at every corner, like they do in Denver, they're going to realize competition is tougher. It's kind of like becomes a race to the bottom, unfortunately, where they start selling, $30 eighths, and you can't make any money selling $30 eighths. And that's the issue that we're having now. People are just struggling to stay open here in Denver, and it's a race to the bottom when it comes to pricing. It's great for the consumer, but it's not great for the companies.
Well, I think in terms of these jobs, we're talking about the business is booming here. Now everybody tuning in saying, well, this guy ain't talking about the business is booming. Well, you got to remember big rush between Colorado and, Washington started this whole thing, but there was a influx of over 100,000 jobs from 20 to 21. But I believe a lot of that was because everything became essential. And like you said, but I remember some figures coming out of Colorado. They sold some gazillion billion dollars worth of cannabis out there or something like that.
We did. 2021 was the biggest year for cannabis in Colorado. And there were overinflated numbers only because of COVID. And the reason why is that people were able to sit home, get money for nothing, and smoke all day.
Yeah, I did that for a few months. That was fucking great.
What are you going to do if you're sitting home all day and you can't go outside? The government's giving you money. You're going to go out and you're going to spend it at your dispensary or your liquor store. I mean, we were both essential, and it was party time. What people didn't realize is that now people need to start finding jobs. The government's not giving money to you anymore. They're actually having to start to pay bills. They're traveling more. I mean, so people are really they don't have the money to spend like they did last year. Last year was a fluke. I don't think we're ever going to see another year like last year.
And so you're saying overall the whatever markup you have to have on your grow, you're saying that the baseline for you to even start making money is $35 an eighth or more?
I'm going to say that's probably the way to go. Yeah.
Shit. So what would it take for you to have to be able to lower that and not hurt your bottom line? You would, I mean, if you own your own grow, which you have to, as a dispensary, I think everyone has to, every one of them has to have their own, right? Or no?
Not in Colorado, you do not.
Okay.
It does not have to be vertically integrated here at all. So we do have our grow, but most of our flower is third-party flower that we bring in.
Right.
So I mean, and there's a markup there. I mean, granted, we're getting pounds at $1,000, $900 now.
Yeah.
But we still have to mark it up to make some money, but people don't want to pay $50 an eighth, $45 an eighth like they did last year. So we're looking to have to, we don't want to, like I always say, race to the bottom. People are trying to keep their doors open, so they're going as low as they possibly can. So it's great for the public right now, but it's not good for dispensaries and grows. Grows are going under every week. I get emails from people going, "We're closing. Concentrate companies, we're closing." It's just there's no business.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's really bad.
So, question: in terms of you sharing that with us, thank you, because I mean that's great insider knowledge. I wouldn't have been able to read about otherwise. If you read everything on the internet, it looks like everything is booming. With that being said, and you being in that industry, in this space down there, I mean, what does the next 12 months look like for you in terms of since you've broken off and you guys have? You said it was Frost, Frost.
Yeah, Frost Exotics is the name of it now. It was Diego Pelletier. Yeah. I see it getting a little better. March is usually pretty decent. April's really good because of 420 month. And then the summertime is where we make our money. Tourism, people coming into Colorado. The weather's really good. They go hiking. They go up into the mountains. That is our bread and butter months, March till probably the end of August. So I'm hoping for at least 70% of the business we had last year. I'm not asking for all of it, but last year, like I said, was a fluke. This year, it's been tough.
So I hope I put the right link up there. Was that the right one, Frost Denver Dispensary?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not even check before I put that up there. I was like, my bad.
Yeah, I'm glad you looked too. I wanted to share that for anybody in Denver or anybody in Colorado. I keep saying Denver because it's the only city I think I know in Colorado. I guess once I go down
it's
there,
in Denver.
I know
it's considered
otherwise.
It's
but
Denver.
When you go to Denver, you know what I mean. You can check out Frost Exotics there. I think Bob's got the link there. We've got it up eventually at some point. You guys can check it out. So, what advice would you give folks looking to get in the game? You say like Oklahoma, it sounds like handing out licenses everywhere, but according to Wanda James, I mean, I'm connected with her on LinkedIn. She's saying that out in Colorado, it's hard for folks of color to get licenses. Essentially, I guess maybe is that kind of ring true what you're hearing out there? Or?
Well, you know what? I think they've stopped actually giving licenses. You would actually have to buy existing licenses in order to start get a dispensary here. I don't know about grows. I know dispensaries, they have a certain amount. So you'd have to actually pick it up off of there's brokers. People are selling all the time. So if you have the money, I don't care if you're black, white, green, they will take your money and you can buy a dispensary.
They will take
all money's green, right?
Right. Yeah. So maybe in the get-go in 2014, when it first started, it might've been difficult to get for people of color to get into this business without having a mega bucks. I don't know.
Aside from Colorado, then maybe the rest of the industry, maybe from where you're plugged in or what you see, do you see that as an issue upon equity of licenses out there for folks who can and can't get to them, or is it pretty much like you say, you just got the green, you just show up?
Yeah, you need to have the green. Colorado is probably one of the first states that actually even started social equity licensing here. So I'll just give you, for instance, we started delivery here in January of this year. Yeah. We cannot deliver our own products to the consumer. We need to go through a social equity partner, which is either people of color or people who have been thrown in jail for cannabis offenses. They start the delivery service. It's basically like I would call it like an Uber, basically, or Uber Eats. But you need to be social equity in order to deliver here in Colorado for 3 years. So I think Colorado's on the forefront of actually noticing that there's an issue with people of color in this industry, and they've started. They're one of the first. Actually, I think we are the only one right now that are forcing you to use a social equity partner now for delivery.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's great to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty badass, man. Vic's asking if you have cookies at your store.
Actually, our partners at Frost own the cookie store on Broadway. So if you want, you can just go to that store on Broadway and get your cookies. I don't want to compete with my team, so I don't carry cookies in our store.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to ask. I know. I was like, there's a reason for that, obviously, because if not, you would have them there. But and
we
again,
did it one time, and then we pulled them. We're like, no, you could go to the Broadway store and you can get your cookies. You don't need to come here for it.
Yeah, for folks watching us here today, let's not get into pricing. We're not going to discuss all of that type of stuff. We're already kind of taboo here with the content. We get less streams and views anyway, especially going through a third-party StreamYard app, with this cannabis content. And then we've got somebody here from the industry here too as well, joining us, the brothers, so to speak. Another B, Bill.
Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of stories as to why mom named me and him Bill and me Bob, but it was obviously William and Robert.
We got Eric B. It's just a lot of B's that hang around.
We have a lot of B's flying around here. Yeah, definitely, man.
Actually, we have a lot of Michaels.
There are.
In our family.
There are. There are a lot of fucking Michaels in our family. So, I mean, obviously you've been in the industry a while, and it's not necessarily like you're kickstarting something new. You've got something established, but you're also in a situation where, like you're saying, numbers are dropping right now. What are you doing outside of the fucking cutting your legs off, basically, and making the prices so good that people have to come to your store? What are you doing in order to make sure that you're able to get people in there?
Well, I mean, it's a cliche, but it's customer service. And people come into our dispensary, as it was Diego Pellicer, now it's Frost. It's still the same people, still the same bud tenders. Granted, maybe a little bit less bud tenders than we had last year, but they come in for the service. We have a variety if you walk in there with $5, we have something for you. You walk in there with $5,000, we have something for you too. So I pride myself in making sure that we have everything on the floor for anybody at any price point. So we have the hash heads that want to buy, like I said, the 710 really high quality product. And then we have our house wax they can buy for smaller amount.
Got a little bit of everything for everybody over there, it sounds like.
Absolutely, yep.
Let me ask you this question. Are you guys able to take medical cannabis cards and do that type of stuff for, veterans that?
We do have a medical license. We don't sell medical. We just we give medical discounts for people when they have a license. We give them 20% off. So it actually pays for their taxes, part of their taxes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why is it that you think Colorado hasn't adopted the taking medical cards from out of states?
To be honest with you, some dispensaries do take out of state.
Really?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I did not know. I thought that was something that sort of had to be like a blanket.
Okay, now I don't know about medical stores. I know recreational stores let you use, like if you have an out-of-state medical license, we will give you a discount. But a medical to medical is different. I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Okay. Yeah,
because like Bob actually helped me get mine up here in Washington State, which I was able to go to Hawaii and get an additional 329 card to be able to get it there. So that worked out. But I went to Florida and you had to be a state resident there, even though I was a medical card holder, just to get it. So I think that's why, we want to make sure for anybody watching that goes out there too, especially for veterans. I'm retired military, and for veterans like myself who, choose to use legally, not in fear of losing your VA benefits or anything like that, medical cannabis as an alternative to opioids. I want to make sure, the veterans know that you've got that there. You'll be able to take care of them out there.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they're worried that if you come from another state with a medical license, not only you can buy more than people who buy rec, they're afraid you're going to take it over state lines.
Makes a lot of sense. People probably driving up I-35 from Dallas to OKC all day long.
Well, they're probably going to do that anyway. If
they do that in Colorado, you go down to Pueblo and down to those 4 Points area. Oh my God, the business is crazy down there because you know what they're doing. They're crossing state lines and then going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that up here in Washington State too. They gave out a bunch of licenses. I remember when I got up here around 14 and you start seeing the green crosses. I was still in active duty at the time, so I wasn't even really checking for it because it was, zero tolerance at the time. But
Oof.
You know, they gave out a lot of licenses and they closed a lot of folks up because they were illegally open. Selling cannabis.
It's unfortunate what's going on with the medical industry here in Colorado because more and more people are stopping selling medical. The government has put a lot of pressure on medical licenses. You know, now if you're an 18 to 20-year-old, when it comes to concentrates, you're only allowed to buy a certain amount. It has to be under a certain percentage of THC also. So they're really stopping the medical kids. I don't know if they're kids. They're not. They're 18 to 20. They're worried about the development of their brain at that point. So they're stopping you. EPC's done. Extended plant counts you can't get anymore. And they're capping you at 2 ounces regardless of what issues you have medically. So a lot of people are realizing that maybe it's not worth it to have a medical license, and rec is the way to go. So is it,
you think because it's a nuisance, it's just too much red tape? Is that what it is?
It is. You need to separate your medical grow from your rec grow. You need to keep your medical license away from your medical product away from your rec product. And there's just not. It's so easy to walk into a store and rec and get, say, 20% off. Why even get a medical license unless you really need it and you want to buy 2 ounces of flour or 8 grams or 16 grams of concentrates and you need it every day? So
that's same thing Bob did with me. I was a casual, and that's what the doctor told me. He's like, "Oh, you're a casual buyer or something like that." You know, and it's like, you're right. You know, I didn't think I needed it. I was like, why do I need it? I can already get a discount, you know, but then there's the grow piece, which Bob turned me on. And then obviously, you know, Washington State, you know, I can walk into one visit at a store. I can walk out with 3 ounces.
Right. Yeah. And here for a while, you know, I worked at a medical store for a couple of years. And with these people with the extended plant counts, they were able to walk in and buy 6 ounces.
Damn.
A day. And they'd come back the next day. So what do you think's happening there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, same thing. You can walk into 15 different dispensaries. I mean, ain't nobody checking no cameras. 1 ounce a day. Yeah, right. Scout's honor. You know, I mean,
right.
Same thing's probably happening.
But you know, in the medical industry now, their metric is tracking the sale of every medical item. So I need to go, if I was in a medical store, I'd have to go into metric. I'd have to look up your patient number, and it has a live listing of what you bought that day.
Pain in the ass tracking.
They're tracking just for that reason. They're worried that people are buying up all that weed and then taking it somewhere else and selling it. So you're only allowed a certain amount every day. So if I look at it, like if I sell you anything, if I was medical, once again, if I sold you more than I should have, they will shut us down.
Oh, of course.
Now they will. Before, there was no live tracking in metric. Metric is our speed to sale software.
Let me ask you this, and I know I got a lot of questions. I'm glad you're here, Bill, especially from a veteran standpoint. You know, I've often said, I think in the next couple of years, especially once, you know, we're at 37 now with Mississippi just getting legalized. Once this state's, you know, everybody's federally legalized here and the VA adopts this, eventually we'll be able to get some prescriptions from the VA. I mean, what are you hearing? And, you know, does that make any kind of sense? Or do you see that? Or what's your vantage point between the medical community with veterans? You think it's because big government's going to get involved and that's why there's all this pushback now, or what?
Right. Well, I think eventually, once the government realizes that they can tax it, make a lot of money, and their, you know, opioid deaths are starting to drop now because of cannabis use. It's all about money. Just figure out where the money's coming from. There's no big cannabis lobbyists. They're all opioid lobbyists, alcohol lobbyists, paying these government people up there to keep cannabis illegal federally. That is going to change. Once that changes, I guarantee you the government will start having their own dispensaries in VA hospitals, kind of like a pharmacy, where they can walk up there, they'll have a prescription.
Like a pill window, you got the weed window at the VA, huh?
Absolutely. I totally believe that will happen.
You taking me there, Bill. I'm going to be excited to go to the VA and tell them about all my problems so I can get my free weed. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, because veterans are dying every day from, unfortunately, they think they're getting opiates off the street. They're getting fentanyl. Everybody's dying from fentanyl right now.
Hell yeah.
So it's all it takes is a couple of people in the government losing their children or losing their family members from overdose.
Yeah, or like you said, it's just the tipping point. I think it's just about there. Like you said,
it's close.
You know, I mean, because you look at Jim Boehner, the guy who used to be the house dude, right? I mean, he guy's like all over the weed industry now, right? John Boehner, I think that's his name.
Boehner, yeah.
He was saying, no, it's a bad thing. Meanwhile, here, take this $500,000 and put it in this company before I get out.
Right. I mean, if Biden wanted to, he could make it legal right now if he wanted to. But Biden, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't care what side you're on. Biden used cannabis as a platform to get elected, promised there would be cannabis reform.
We were excited about it, talking about the shit here.
Absolutely. And he hasn't done shit because he does not agree. I mean, all you need to go back 40 years and figure out what he did when it came to drug offenders.
Yeah.
He put more people away than any other congressman, senator in the history with his drug laws. I didn't think he was going to do it now. I don't care if you think he's senile. He still thinks it is a dangerous drug. So I'm not looking
until he can make money off it, and then overnight we'll see a switch. Like you said, then there'll be dispensaries in the VA.
Yeah.
expedite.
Well, yeah, if the government decides I'm making it federally legal, they're the first ones who want to get their foot in the door. So they're gonna, Walmart's. You see, that's another thing too. We can talk for hours about this. People want it to be federally legal, but there's repercussions to being federally legal. You're gonna have Walmart, Pfizer, all these companies coming in, buying up all these dispensaries, buying up all the licenses.
Big bank take little bank.
Absolutely. And then you'll be walking into a Walmart basically to buy your cannabis. All these people who actually started this business, started from the bottom and worked their way up, will be bought out. And granted, they'll probably take the money. Who wouldn't take the money?
Yeah.
It's going to become big business, big government after that. It's not going to be the little people anymore.
So what advice would you have for somebody who may have a desire to try to use whatever skill set they got? Like I always push Bob here. Bob, I mean, when I first met him in 2016, not physically, but that's amazing. We haven't even met each other yet. We've been knowing each other for 6 years.
It's crazy.
But he's an historian when it comes to the Cowboys. And then I found out he knows about weed. And I'm like, dude, you need to, that's like something, you don't really see a lot of people out there sharing expertise about this type of stuff. Then he helps me get my medical card, and then, kind of like now we're here. What kind of advice do you have for folks who are trying to find their way into this industry before it gets to that tipping point?
Well, I tell you what, this is a phenomenal industry. And like you were talking about earlier, there's only about 5 states that are fully rec. But once these states start adopting recreational, and if you're working in the industry, say California, Washington here, New York's starting to go rec. New York is big money. What they're going to start doing is plucking people from these legal states that have been running dispensaries, knowing what they're doing, and then bringing them and paying them a lot of money.
For sure.
They don't know what they're doing. They're not going to take somebody from Target. They're going to take somebody from dispensaries in these legal states to come over to their state and start and help them grow the business. So if you can get in there now, get a couple of years under your belt, whether it be managing, growing, concentrates, working in a manufacturing infused product,
or a bud tender,
anything, you will be able to go anywhere in the country in 5 years and make a great living because you will have that knowledge under your hat.
Yeah, that's a big one, and it's crazy because it's not like you can anything else where you can expect like a restaurant boom or anything like that. But when cannabis does happen to go federally, or everyone gets a shot at voting on whether they want it in their state or not, that's going to be fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, people think that it's a great business. It is a great business, but our number one priority at Frost and other dispensaries is compliance. The rules for cannabis grows and dispensaries are insane. They're 10 times more than alcohol. You need to know the rules every single day. You need to make sure you're being compliant because they will shut you down. They will fine you. They will take your license away. So that's important. That's the knowledge I have compliance wise. I know who I can allow into my dispensary, whether they are badged or not, if they're a visitor, if they have to be in a certain area. If they are, they need to be guided through that area. It's crazy how compliance is in Denver. But the more knowledge you have, you can go to New York, New Jersey, Florida, even when they go rec, and you'll know 100 times more than the people who just want to bring their money into that state. They will tell you, hey, you worked in a legal state, please show us what I need to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Here's the money. Help me out.
I'm waiting for the big Jersey boom.
No, New York is going to go. New York is going to be bigger than California because California still doesn't have their shit together. California is a joke when it comes to cannabis. They're overtaxed. They're actually helping the black market over there, and people they're closing up. They're raiding these dispensaries now.
Well, we know they're being playing both sides of the fence down there. We already know what's going on.
Yeah, it's just awful. So a lot of people are actually leaving California.
Yeah. And you talk about money. Let me ask you this. You know, you deal with money. You obviously have the transport. You're in the cash industry. You got to take cash from said Frost dispensary to the bank. You've been seeing, I don't know if you've seen these. We've talked about this here last week about, you know, there's investigations of feds popping these vans, going to the banks, or people robbing these vans. Have you had any kind of activity like that? Have you been robbed or have you, you know, anything like that at all?
No.
What are you doing what do you have to try to tell folks to protect themselves out there? Because there's a rash of folks getting robbed now at dispensaries.
There is. Colorado would never let that happen, first of all. If the governor or the mayor ever heard of any kind of, I don't care what, if you're local government or if you're FBI, there's no way they would let that happen, because once that happens, it'll happen everywhere. We need the tax dollars. We're not fighting with government because government works with us. I mean, the police and the marijuana enforcement division are basically one unit. So they're not going to work against each other. They're not going to try to, they know where the money's going. We have to tell them where the money's going.
What about folks just coming in and arbitrarily robbing the joint?
Robbing's a different story. We do have robberies a lot. Now, we need to make sure that our vault, we can't have any product out on the floor after hours. It needs to go into a vault. It needs to be, it's got to have a steel door. It needs to be like a 4-ply steel. I mean, there's rules for all of that. So like Cookies, for example, Cookies on Broadway, our sister store, has been broken into 4 times.
Wow.
They don't get nothing. They can't get into anything. They break the windows. They walk in there. They take the displays that are filled with sand, and then they leave and they feel like idiots because we can't keep anything out on the floor after hours. It needs to go into the back in the vault, and they can't go into the vault. There's no way.
Yeah, the charges are much bigger too when you break in there with handguns with people in there too. That's the reason why they do that after hours.
We have a few cannabis banks in Colorado here. We actually have a bank in Colorado Springs that has a kind of like a Brinks trunk van that comes to our store twice a week, takes the money and drives it down to Colorado Springs.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I mean, you guys have been in business obviously for quite some time, you know. So
I mean, back in the day, it was a wild, wild west where you had $200,000, $300,000 in cash. You're like, where the hell am I going to do with it? And you have to bring in your car and drive it to the bank. That's a different story. If somebody knows your route and your business.
I've seen this fucking helicopter's been fucking following me.
No, man. I mean, that's what Wanda James was talking about, that she made it onto that Netflix. I think last year we covered that Netflix that she was on and talked about how dealing in the cash industry is like the most dangerous industry to wake up to every day. You got to pray that you don't get robbed.
It's the truth. It's you know, we've been lucky. If there's any kind of robberies, it's usually during the day where they'll just come in masked and put a gun to your head and say, give me your money. We haven't had that, but it's rampant.
Do you have physical security in there, guarded security, or no? Is that not a good idea for the industry, or is that not in compliance yet?
Oh no, we have security. Yeah, there's people. You know, they can't carry a weapon inside the store, but they can carry one outside the store. But yeah, we have security, and there's cameras. It's like a casino. Every 5 feet is a camera. Unless you're fully masked, you're gonna be they're gonna find you. They're gonna see you.
So is that somewhere you got to outsource folks for, you know, that are qualified? Obviously, is there not like new qualifications if you got to be like a security guard at a dispensary?
No, usually go through a security company and you can hire through there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I just like to bring it up because I'm always trying to tell my veterans who've dealt with firearms like myself, or, you know, fired a weapon or done anything, when you talk about physical security, especially with dealing in the cash industry. You know, I would think that dispensaries would probably try to outsource more security, or maybe veterans could start their own security company and be the outsourced company that comes in and provides that type of security so folks ain't getting robbed.
Absolutely. At the first cannabis company I worked at, the Green Solution, their brothers were Marines, and they started their own security company within that company. So they just outsourced their brother to come in and pick up the money, to deliver the products, and they were all armed. So it was a veteran-based security company they went with.
It's pretty bad.
You know them folks, or you've dealt with them?
I worked with them. They sold the company. I think a year ago, Green Solution was sold to Columbia Care, another big.
Okay.
You know, once Colorado passed the law that out-of-state investors could come in, that's when you see a lot of companies start to sell out.
Yeah, I'd love to get a veteran on here, maybe who's in the security space, especially out there in that industry, to come up on here if they could. You know, that'd be great to get some insight, share with some other veterans here too as well, and talk about how can we make these dispensaries safer, plus give some jobs to some veterans, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
I know I'm in the minority here simply because I'm still a medical patient and have been since 2008, and I grow. And the thing that's pissed me off this entire time is that there has been no advancement whatsoever in the ability for anybody who's just a home fucking grower to grow any more than they ever have since this medical grow and medical cannabis became implemented in Colorado. That's one thing that's kind of pissed me off. And the thing is there's so many big players throwing around millions of dollars it's really got nothing to do with people who are growing at home. Everybody who's making money has everything to do with the buying and selling and owning and operating of these dispensaries and grows. So the people like myself who are interested in possibly trying to grow maybe fucking 4 or more different strains of cannabis at a time can't do it legally because you can't flower any more than 3 at a time, no matter
who
it's
designed that way. You know, they want you to go to Frost and buy, you know, your brother's stuff.
Well,
they don't want you to grow your own.
Not only that, they are worried that you're going to grow, you're going to get your 2 pounds, whatever yield you're getting every 6 months, and you're going to go over state lines and sell it to your buddies. Or you're going to have
Sam can't get his hand in the cookie jar, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's to stop people. They're trying to stop the black market. Is what they're trying to do.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. If you look in states like, you know, Michigan, who allow you to flower 6 to 12 and grow 24, it's just for some reason it just seems like everything is advanced so quickly in Colorado with the laws, regulations, rules, but with everything but the advancement of personal grows. Because ask people who in New York was, you know, and like I said, Michigan and these states who are legal, they're already starting off with the ability to flower more than I am.
Well, now, if you remember correctly, we did have extended plant counts at the beginning.
Yeah.
We were able to grow. So what they're going to do is they're going to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and they're going to start dropping it like Colorado's doing.
I was never able to. Here's the thing. I'm glad that you brought that up, because as a medical patient, I'd say the last 4 years I went for renewal. I would ask them. I keep hearing about my ability to up my plant count. Does that give me the ability to up my ability to flower more at a time? And it does not. So after about the second time asking that, the lady said to me, listen, man, if you really are fucking hugging on to compliance, then don't bother doing this right now, because you're just going to be able to grow more, but you still won't be able to flower any more than 3 at a time. So I never bothered fucking dealing with it. And that's exactly why I do not flower. I don't even bother growing any more than 3 at a time, because I can't flower any more than 3 at a time. So it makes no sense. And I'm not growing this on a large scale at all by any means, but.
And they're worried about people. Okay, Bob, we know you're growing 6 plants in your house. I'm going to break in and get them.
Right.
They're trying to stop that. They're trying to stop you using too much electricity, using too much water. You know, that they're trying to curb that also.
Yeah.
There's a green deal when it comes to this also. Let the big grows do it. You know, you don't need to be doing it.
Open that dispensary, they said. You'll get rich, they said.
Oh, they did. 7 years ago.
Fucking A, did they? Yeah.
It sounds like you got a bunch of paperwork to do. Damn, it sounds like you got a lot of shit to track.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It is, but I think it's worth it. I think we're in an industry where I still think we're in the infancy of our industry. Okay. Granted, we've been legal for quite some time now, but we still have a lot of work to do. And I think we should start treating cannabis like alcohol all across the country. I think it's a joke that there's people in jail. We can talk about this for hours too. There's people in jail for cannabis-related offenses. Granted, if they're importing 50 tons of pot, that's a different story. But people in jail for any kind of cannabis-related issues, unless it was armed robbery with cannabis or something, need to be out.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you've done that, and it's just embarrassing.
And they're starting to do that now. I mean, a lot of these states with recreational states are starting to open up these doors and going, you know what, we're letting you out. And we're actually not only letting you out, we're going to wipe your slate clean. All those, for you being arrested for a cannabis offense, we're wiping it. You're never going to see it again. It's not going to be on your record. Which is
it is kind of fucked up to have somebody in jail for something that's legal at the time. So
imagine if you're in jail right now and you got caught with an ounce of weed in Alabama. I'm just going to use Alabama because they're the deep South, and they give you 5 years.
Oh,
but your buddy who lives in Colorado is selling that shit every day and making a profit and paying taxes. We're paying taxes to the government.
Only in America, man. It's the American way.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Fuck the little guy. Excuse my language.
Oh, shit, man.
It's bullshit is what it is.
It is. I agree.
Well, guys, I really hope everyone out there has learned something today. My brother came in and dropped fucking knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb all over us, and I appreciate you time. So hopefully you guys got some yin and yang here, because we did start off talking about how this whole fucking industry is blowing up right now, and then Bill comes in and is like, well, unless you've got billions of dollars rotating in your business right now, that's not necessarily the case. So,
well, I mean, there's a lull right now. I mean, last year, like I said, was absolutely amazing. It was a fluke. There was many reasons for that. Government money, people not going to work, sitting home, remote jobs. People don't care if you're smoking weed at home. They can't tell. You can't do it at work.
People getting tendonitis from playing video games, that type of shit.
Right. I mean, we were doing $1.5 million a month last year. We're not even close to that now. So there's money to be made. I think if you want to make any money in this industry, I think you need to be vertically integrated. You need to have your own grow. You need to grow your own weed. You need to sell it. That needs to the majority of the flower in your grow, in your dispensary, should come from your grow. And if you're buying from third-party vendors, you're going to make a little bit of money, but not enough to open 5 stores. So that's why these, Green Solutions, Live Well, Good Chem, they have huge grows. They produce quality product at a cheaper cost than having to go to the wholesale market. So that's where you make your money.
So last question.
Yeah.
Damn it, and it might have just slipped my mind. Oh my goodness. You were just saying that last part where you talking about and it slipped my mind now. I can't even think about it.
You're good.
No, for real. He said, I was catching that last little bit. I didn't want to miss that, and then I totally dropped that thought. Damn it, I wanted to ask him a question. I can't remember. It'll come to me as soon as I get off the show. Don't worry about it.
You're good.
Riles, you got anything you want to plug? Anything going on at your store before we get out of here? Whoa, shit, it came back.
It came back.
Yeah. If I come down there to Colorado, in Denver, wherever you guys are at in Denver, you know what I mean? Yeah. Can me and Bob come into Frost and set up and do a live stream or no?
Actually, you could. All you would need would be a visitor badge, and we can set you up. And absolutely, I would love for that to happen.
Sounds like we're getting kind of close. Mm-hmm. Things are getting kind of serious over here, Bob.
It's getting real, man. It's getting fucking real, man. All right, man. But yeah, like I said, anything you want to plug, Bill, before we get out of here?
Come to Frost. We got some Frosty Nugs.
Frosty Nugs at the Frost, man. All right, man. Well, again, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. BG, you got anything you want to say before we launch?
Nah, man. Thanks, Bill. Look forward to having you on the show again, man. Look forward to meeting you here soon at your Frost dispensary.
Thanks, man.
Nice. All right, folks. We'll see you next week on Square Groupers.